The world can be a strange and frightening place, full of many horrible and horrifying creatures. But, as is with all dark subject matter, there is an undeniable morbid curiosity regarding just such creatures. Today, we're going to crack open a creature case study and take a closer look at one of these entities. In Native American lore, few beasts were as fearsome and terrible as the Wendigo. These ravenous, cannibalistic monsters stalked the legends of countless tribes, but were most known from the folklore of the Algonquin people. Regardless of the various versions and sources, they all share several identifiable features. First and most notable is the Wendigo's terrible and insatiable hunger. A part of their cursed existence, Wendigos will never be able to eat enough flesh to satisfy their desperate hunger. And of course, the thing that Wendigos most crave to devour is human flesh. This unending hunger is said to be reflected in their outward appearances, as oftentimes they are said to appear skeletal and emaciated. Beyond this, everything else about their looks is also frightening. They are said to have sallow, yellowish skin, sometimes covered in matted fur and sometimes even decaying, as well as long tongues, wicked yellow fangs, and wild, glowing eyes, refracting light in the shadows as they stalk you. Many times they are depicted as having a deer-like head, antlers, or even a deer's skull in place of a head. These horrifying beasts are oftentimes very large, varying in size from legend to legend, but generally are described as being giants, towering over men at around 15 feet high. They are often associated with frigid cold, disease, and extreme famine. A sudden drop in temperature and a foul, unearthly smell is said to indicate the approach of one of these terrible beasts. Once again, different legends will give you different answers, but in regards to the creation of Wendigos, it is generally believed that they were once human. Given as Wendigos and their ceaseless appetites will never have enough to feel satisfied, by some, it is believed that they were cursed to that state because of greed. According to some legends, when a human became far too greedy and corrupt, thinking only of themselves and coveting what others had, they could become a Wendigo, punished for eternity to never have enough. Another, and far more disturbing legend regarding the creation of Wendigos is directly related to the greatest taboo. You see, it is said that should a human take part in the horrific act of cannibalism, they could be cursed to become a fearsome Wendigo. From that wicked moment on, they would live a cursed life, constantly craving more human flesh, but never finding relief from their unending hunger and slow starvation. In regards to those who became Wendigos, it is said that the people they once were are still inside of the beasts, curled, frozen and still, in the place where its heart should be. While in very few legends it's been said that the person could be saved by removing them from the creature's chest, this is by far the well-wishing minority. Far more often than not, there is utterly no hope for these people. The best you could give them is a peaceful rest in the afterlife by slaying the Wendigo. And unfortunately, the only way to do this is to slay the person inside of the beast's chest. Moving away from folklore and into the more scientific side of things, there was actually a disturbing condition known as Wendigo Psychosis. This frightening condition leads to humans believing that they have been possessed by or are themselves becoming a Wendigo, and as such, they murder and cannibalize victims. One famous case included a man named Swift Runner who was snowed in with his family in Alberta, Canada in 1878. Horrifyingly, though he was only a mere 25 miles from the nearest post with survival supplies and food, Runner fell victim to Wendigo Psychosis. Believing that he had become one of the horrible creatures, he slaughtered and ate his wife and 5 children. When the snow had cleared, authorities apprehended him after the incident, and he was executed for his crimes. While a horrific and highly controversial topic in the scientific community in the 1980s, Wendigo Psychosis slowly fizzled out of the limelight as the 20th century approached, and cases became rarer and rarer. And while the condition may have faded into obscurity, the legends of Wendigos have endured and continue to thrive. In modern times, Wendigos have been featured in countless stories, shows, movies, books, games, and more. While oftentimes their origins can be more or less lost, the bone-chilling terror of these creatures and their insatiable bloodlust still remains true. The lore is kept alive and well by urban legends and stories. To this day, people report supposed sightings and even say they've heard them screaming in the woods on cold, dark nights. It seems these terrifying creatures are here to stay in our collective nightmares for years to come. So, if you're ever alone out in the forest at night, and there's a sudden, frigid chill and a foulness in the air, be sure to flee for your life. After all, there be monsters in these woods. Well, that's all for today's report. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like, and if you're new here, please consider subscribing. There's more creepy content every Monday and Friday to satisfy your appetite for horror, and if you don't want to miss out on any new videos, consider clicking that little bell to join the notification squad. Until next time, stay creepy.